Chapter 15. And in the 5th year of the 4th week of this Jubilee, 1979 a.m., in the 3rd month, in the middle of the month, Abram celebrated the Feast of the First-fruits of the grain harvest. And he offered new offerings on the altar, the first-fruits of the produce, to the Lord, a heifer and a goat and a sheep on the altar as a burnt sacrifice to the Lord. Their fruit offerings and their drink offerings he offered upon the altar with frankincense. But the Lord appeared to Abram and said to him, I am God Almighty. Approve yourself before me and be perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and you, and I will multiply you exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him and said, Behold, my ordinance is with you, and you shall be the father of many nations. Neither shall your name any more be called Abram, but your name from henceforth, even forever, shall be Abraham. For the father of many nations have I made you. And I will make you very great, and I will make you into nations, and kings shall come forth from you. And I shall establish my covenant between me and you, and your seed after you, throughout their generations, for an eternal covenant, so that I may be a God to you, and to your seed after you. And I will give to you and to your seed after you the land where you have been a sojourner, the land of Canaan, that you may possess it forever. And I will be their God. And the Lord said to Abraham, And as for you, keep my covenant, you and your seed after you. And circumcise every male among you, and circumcise your foreskins. And it shall be a token of an eternal covenant between me and you. And the child on the 8th day you shall circumcise, every male throughout your generations, him that is born in the house, or whom you have bought with money from any stranger, whom you have acquired, who is not of your seed. He that is born in your house shall surely be circumcised, and those whom you have bought with money shall be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an eternal ordinance. And the uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin on the 8th day, that soul shall be cut off from his people, for he has broken my covenant. And God said to Abraham, As for Sarai, your wife, her name shall no more be called Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. And I will bless her, and give you a son by her. And I will bless him, and he shall become a nation, and the kings of nations shall proceed from him. And Abraham fell on his face, and rejoiced, and said in his heart, Shall a son be born to him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bring forth? And Abraham said to God, Oh, that Ishmael might live before you. And God said, Yea, and Sarah also shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him, an everlasting covenant, and for his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, also have I heard you. And behold, I will bless him, and make him great, and multiply him exceedingly. And he shall beget 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you, in these days, in the next year. And he left off speaking with him. And God went up from Abraham. And Abraham did according as God had said to him. And he took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and whom he had bought with his money, every male in his house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin. And on the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and all the men of his house, and those born in the house, and all those whom he had bought with money from the children of the stranger were circumcised with him. This law is for all the generations forever, and there is no circumcision of the days, and no omission of one day out of the 8 days, for it is an eternal ordinance, ordained and written on the heavenly tablets. And every one that is born, the flesh of whose foreskin is not circumcised on the 8th day, belongs not to the children of the covenant which the Lord made with Abraham, but to the children of destruction. Nor is there moreover any sign on him that he is the Lord's, but he is destined to be destroyed and slain from the earth, and to be rooted out of the earth, for he has broken the covenant of the Lord our God. For all the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification have been so created from the day of their creation, and the angels of sanctification he has sanctified Israel, that they should be with him and with his holy angels. And command the children of Israel, and let them observe the sign of this covenant for their generations as an eternal ordinance, and they will not be rooted out of the land. For the command is ordained for a covenant, that they should observe it forever among all the children of Israel. For Ishmael and his sons, and his brothers, and Esau, the Lord did not cause to approach him. And he chose them not because they are the children of Abraham, because he knew them, but he chose Israel to be his people, and gathered it from amongst all the children of men. For there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his, and over all has he placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. But over Israel he did not appoint any angel or spirit, for he alone is their ruler. And he will preserve them and require them at the hand of his angels and his spirits, and at the hand of all his powers, in order that he may preserve them and bless them, that they may be his, and he may be theirs, from henceforth forever. And now I announce to you that the children of Israel will not keep true to this ordinance, and they will not circumcise their sons according to all this law. For in the flesh of their circumcision they will omit this circumcision of their sons, and all of them, sons of Beliar, will leave their sons uncircumcised as they were born. And there will be great wrath from the Lord against the children of Israel, because they have forsaken his covenant, and turned aside from his word, and provoked and blasphemed, inasmuch as they do not observe the ordinance of this law. For they have treated their members like the Gentiles, so that they may be removed and rooted out of the land. And there will no more be pardon or forgiveness to them, so that there should be forgiveness and pardon for all the sin of this eternal error.